They say you never truly know the hearts of men until you have nothing left to give or until you are dead. Let me tell you the story of Kola. Kola was a wealthy man, a pillar of his community and a savior to his family. He had 7 brothers and a mother whom he fed daily. He carried them on his back, paid their bills, and fueled their lavish lifestyles. But late at night, in the silence of his mansion, a dark thought kept him awake, gnawing at his peace. Do they love me, or do they only love my pocket? To find the answer, Kola did the unthinkable. He decided to die. On the day of the burial, the rain fell heavily, mixing with the tears of his young wife, Nia. She threw herself to the wet ground, broken, unable to imagine a life without her husband. But watching from a distance, hidden behind the tinted windows of a black SUV parked under the cover of trees, sat the real Kola, alive, watching through a pair of binoculars. He watched as his casket, filled only with a mannequin and bags of sand, was lowered into the cold earth. And then he focused on his family. His mother and his 7 brothers were wiping their eyes, yes, but Kola saw the truth magnified through his lenses. Their eyes were darting around, checking their gold watches, whispering to each other with barely concealed excitement. They weren't mourning a loss, they were calculating a profit. Kola whispered to himself in the cold silence of his car, "Cry, Mama, make it look real, because the show is just beginning." The dirt on the grave wasn't even dry before the true Collins began to show. Back at Kola's mansion, what was supposed to be a solemn funeral reception turned into a feast. The 7 brothers were eating voraciously, tearing into meat, drinking Kola's most expensive wine, and laughing loudly. Nia, still clutching her black mourning cloth, walked into the dining room and wept. "How can you eat like this? Your brother is barely cold in the ground." The room went dead silent. Then Kola's mother stood up. The mask of grief vanished from her face, replaced by a cold, hard glare. She looked at the weeping widow and said, "Who are you to tell my sons when to eat? You are the bad luck that killed my son." Before the sun even set on the day of his burial, Kola's brothers physically pushed his weeping wife out of the front door with nothing but a small bag. They slammed the heavy doors, claiming the house, the cars, and the money for the bloodline. From his hideout, Kola's heart shattered. He had built that house for his wife, and his family had thrown her out like trash. Nia was homeless, desperate and shivering. She went to Kola's business partners for help. But one by one, the men who had dined at Kola's table turned their backs. "He is dead, madame," they said coldly. "Life moves on." She walked away defeated, but just as the elevator doors were closing, a hand stopped them. It was Jide, Kola's quietest partner. He handed Nia a thick envelope of his own personal savings. "Don't tell the others," Jide whispered, his eyes kind. "I will try to fight for your shares." From his surveillance feeds, Kola wrote Jide's name down on a notepad. Beside it, he wrote one word, loyal. For 30 days, Kola lived in the shadows. He watched his 7 brothers drive his cars recklessly, scratching the paint, abusing the engines. He watched his mother live like a queen in his master bedroom, sleeping in the bed he shared with his wife. But he also watched Nia. Alone in a cheap, drafty motel room, she prayed for his soul every night. And every few days, Kola ensured a package arrived at her door. Fresh food, money, supplies, always anonymously, signed only with the word patience. Nia thought it was a miracle from God. She didn't know her guardian angel was watching from across the street in a dark hoodie. 30 days, that was the limit Kola had set. And on the 30th day, the timer ran out. It was the 1-month remembrance. The family threw a massive party in the mansion to celebrate their new wealth. Music blasted, champagne flowed, and the brothers danced on the furniture. One brother raised a glass high, shouting, "To Kola for dying and leaving us the good life." Suddenly, the music cut. The lights flickered. The heavy front doors boomed open with a sound like thunder. Lightning flashed outside, illuminating a silhouette standing in the doorway. It was Kola, dressed in an all-white suit, glowing against the storm. The mother dropped her glass. It shattered on the marble floor. One brother fell off his chair, screaming, "Ghost!" The room froze in terror. "I am not a ghost, Mama," Kola said, his voice deadly calm, echoing off the walls. He walked into the room, the sound of his footsteps like a judge's gavel. He picked up a piece of chicken from a brother's plate and threw it on the floor. 7 brothers. Not one of you asked where Nia was. You claimed you were protecting my assets. No, you are protecting your stomachs.
Police officers stepped into the room behind him, their faces grim. Kola pointed to the door. "Get out, all of you. The clothes on your back, mine. Take them off. The cars? Mine. Leave the keys.
You have to help
But
me.
I am your mother, she cried, reaching
You
out to
have
him.
to help me.
And she was my wife, Kola replied, stepping back. A mother protects her child's home. She doesn't destroy it. You have 10 minutes to leave my property before I have you arrested for trespassing. As the family was dragged out into the rain, crying and begging, Kola stood alone in the quiet house. He pulled out his phone and called Nia. "Hello, my love," he said, tears finally falling down his face. "I'm coming to get you." Nia returned to her home. Jide was made the new CEO, and the 7 brothers returned to the streets. The lesson is simple. Be careful who you feed. Not every hand that reaches for your plate is there to help you wash it.